This is the drive home with TT for the Millwall drive home, driving home. Actually, not just TT, ZT is back. The Zach Star Zach is back. Driving home from the den. Where it finished? Millwall 2. You'll never beat the Millwall. Charlton 1. Wow, what any game, you win a game in the last minute and you can't fail to be absolutely buzzing. Zach, how are you feeling?
I had tears in my eyes because when you win like that, and I've just come back, the doctor phoned us a few days ago saying I was free to do my normal life. We were just buzzing with that day, and we were buzzing today too.
Yeah, that's right. So he's got the all clear. The surgery was worthwhile. He's back now, he's back for good. And what a game to come back to. You know, a local derby. I've got no ill feeling towards Charlton, to be honest, but you want to beat them because they don't beat us. You want to keep that going, and they must be walking away from the stadium today thinking, not sure how they've come away with nothing, to be honest, because I think a point would have been a fair result for both sides. Just this Charlton Millwall, I think a Charlton friend of mine sent me a message and it said on their official Twitter page, history repeats itself, the same thing happens again, and it feels like that against Charlton. It's silly because we don't really have that against anybody else, but the footballing gods are on our side, and you get a corner in the last minute, Charlton fans must be thinking, here we go, and we're right up for it at that stage. It's difficult to talk about it because, you know, the emotion of winning the game in the last minute is difficult to talk about, but I'll try my best. We started with a Bartosz Białkowski in goal, who, other than a couple of mind fart moments where he seems to lose concentration, he's pulled off some absolutely superb saves. Really top draw. You know, one, he's pushed onto the bar. He looked a little bit awkward, but I think it's skipped off the surface just in front of him in the second half. I think it was the first half, sorry. He's pushed it onto the bar. Then he makes a great save right on half time. The Charlton player, I think it was Bon, and it's dropped to him so sweetly. And you think the amount of times you see it drop to a player like that, about 8 yards out, coming down, and he hits it so sweetly. You know, he couldn't have hit it any better. He must think it's a goal. And somehow, whether he gets his head to it or whether his hands to it, but he pushes it over the bar or heads it over the bar. But it was an absolutely fantastic save and got us through to half time, 1-0 up. And I think, you know, first 15 minutes, Millwall were really dominant. And our back four just weren't troubled at all. We had Marlon Romeo at right back. Left back was Murray Wallace. And the two centre-backs of Cooper and Hutchinson. Marlon, again, didn't look too great defending. Couldn't really get into the game, you know, today. But it's difficult to mark anyone down because we didn't really look defensively frail at any stage. And he's part of that. Like I said, he's probably didn't have his best game defensively. He's got caught out of position a couple of times, but he done nothing wrong. I'll give him a 6 because I don't think I can give him any more than a 7. Murray Wallace left back wasn't pressured, and that surprised me. You know, every team knows coming to the den, you put a lot of pressure on Murray Wallace, you put a lot of pace against him, and their number 14, Charlton, must have been fuming with him because he just seemed to not be interested. The only player on the pitch, actually, I think out of both sides, that really was disappointing. You know, a player that just seemed to not be bothered, and that suited us because it fell into our hands because Murray Wallace is always susceptible to a player with pace, but done what he needed to do well today, Murray Wallace, and I'll give him a 7. You then go to Cooper and Hutchinson at the back, and I felt like that today was going to be a game of set pieces, and it turned out to be. You know, the Charlton goal has come into our box and bobbled around, and really should have been dealt with, but you know, it's one of those where it's in the box, it falls to the number 14, who this one's for you, by the way. The number, sorry, not the number. Yeah, was it the number 14 that scored the goal? Was it Lecco? Well, Lecco, I think it was Lecco. Well, you done that to our fans when you equalised. So to you today, right back 2-1, because you're thinking he didn't really do anything else in the game. You get a lucky goal and you start winding our fans up. Don't understand that. Play football. Anyway, well, I'll talk about Cooper and Hutchinson. Cooper, solid. Won a lot of the balls in the air. Dealt with Bond really well because he's been putting a lot of pressure on defenders recently. But I felt that Cooper handled it well, and Hutchinson pops up with a goal. It's a great delivery from the midfield into Hutchinson, it's a really good header. There's no way of getting it. He's swiveled on it, hit it into the bottom left-hand corner. And like I said, I felt like we were deservedly 1-0 up at that stage. Although we allowed the players from, Cullen and Gallagher, who are two Premiership players on loan at Charlton. They're not Charlton players, and you can tell that they had a bit of quality and dictated the game far too much for my liking. We gave them too much respect. Ultimately, it didn't really cost us, and like I said, both teams seemed comfortable. There's 3 goals in the game, and I think other than a couple of saves from Barton and one good save from their keeper, there's not enough goal chances created. We played Mulumbe and Sean Williams in front of the back 4. I felt like it was a poor game from Mulumbe. Whether he was trying too hard, whether he was, he weren't getting much of the ball. He got booked early on, and that's always quite dangerous. You don't want to be on a booking as a central midfielder. And again, I'll point to the fact that we've got no central midfielder cover on the bench, which makes it difficult to be on a booking at that stage because you put the team under pressure. Funny enough, the last 15 minutes when Charlton sat back, and I really don't know why teams do this. Charlton, when they were attacking, when they were putting us under pressure, looked the better side. And as soon as they scored, they just sat back. And as a Millwall fan, we know that more than any others. You take the lead or you get back in a game, keep doing what you're doing well. I just don't understand why teams decide to sit back. And Charlton sat back and tried to catch us on the break, but they were dictating play at that stage. And Mulumbe, at that stage, then started to come into it. You had Williams next to him, who I thought had a solid game. Done what he did, broke up the play when it got in and around the box area. Passed, the delivery for the first goal was excellent. And that's what he's in the team for. So I'll give Mulumbe a 5, to be honest, and I'll give Williams a 7. We then had Jed Wallace and Ben Thompson. Jed, I don't know whether Ben's, he was kind of a left midfield, centre attacking midfield, but I felt Ben was a bit lost for lots of the game today. He still managed to make himself relevant. He still got involved, which is a testament to the kind of player he is, because I'm not sure it really worked with him in the position that he was. Far too often today he was pulled out to the left, and Charlton exposed that quite well. He was pulled out to the left, and he's not a left midfielder, he's a central midfielder, but he done his role well enough. I kept looking at it thinking, I don't want him out there, but he was effective and getting the ball down and driving with it, the usual Ben Thompson performance, and that you can ask no more from him than he did, and I'll give him a solid 7. And then we got Jed Wallace, and again, it wasn't the most effective Jed Wallace performance, but Jed carries the team at some stage. He's always willing to get the ball down and run at their defence, and he put them under a load of pressure. He's always in the game. Jed Wallace is never out of the game. You never look at Jed and think he's just walking around. He's always trying to make an impact. He's always trying to do something, and he still managed to do that today. So I think you can comfortably give him a 7. And then we move to the front 2. Bradshaw and Budvarsson, who didn't have. I don't remember either one of them having a chance. I think Bradshaw had one chance, but they didn't have really many chances. But their work rate was excellent. It wasn't a game for balls in and around the box today, because from either side, I don't remember either side having a shot other than the great save from Bart from inside the box. It was a game in the midfield, and a game for balls into the box for the big target men that both teams play, and that obviously doesn't fall into the strong point of both Budvarsson and Bradshaw. But you've got to rate the effort that they've given. You've got to rate what they bring to the team, and both of them, I felt, did what they were in the side to do. They didn't get any chances. You can't moan at them for that. they pressured their back line and didn't stop working, and it was a workmanlike performance. So I'll give them again both a 7. And then we'll look at the subs. You know, Aidan O'Brien came on, didn't really have, you know, he took the ball once, he got a bit lucky in the corner, which led to the goal. We also had the goal scorer. You know, Matt Smith comes on for Thompson. You know, Thompson had blown a gasket at that stage. You know, he had to come off because he was knackered. But what you loved about Matt Smith is, you know, Gary Rowett's going to look like an absolute genius. He brings the player on. And funny enough, my dad said to me that, you know, there's no one at the back post. Maybe Matt's there to come on and score at the back post, and he's absolutely nailed it. Because when there's 3 generations of Thomas, the Thomas family there, when you've got Zach, when you've got me and you've got Layla here as well, and when you've got my dad, we never lose. So Dad's obviously going to have to make more of an effort to get down here, because we're a difficult team to beat. And I do want to say, before I say anything else, I was speaking to Jimmy outside the ground, and I told him I'd give him a mention, so that's your mention. Got that in there. But it was, you know, Matt Smith's at the back post. It's a really great delivery over the Matt Smith just climbs over the defender to nod it into the back of the net, and the Den goes absolutely wild. You know, Charlton sang well throughout the game. You know, they brought a lot of fans, although I'm surprised they didn't fill the bottom tier, even though they were given the option to. But they sang well. You know, it wasn't the loudest I've heard the Den, but it was the loud. You know, normally we'll lift the boys. Today they lifted us. You know, we were excellent. I thought the fans' first 15 minutes, and then the absolute roof came off the Den. You know, with the you'll never beat Millwall, and the no one like, I've never heard No One Likes Us sang as loudly as it was done after that goal. And I know, yeah, probably you should be singing when you're not winning, and we do that enough all over the country and even at home. So you've got to take what you've got to take. If you're asking me, and I know you probably are asking me who my man of the match was, it's a difficult one today, because I felt like it was a team performance. I don't think it was our best performance by any stretch of the imagination, but it's about winning. The derby games like that are about winning. Whether you win ugly, and we don't do that very often, but I felt like we probably did win ugly today. My man of the match probably has to go to Shaun Hutchinson. I thought that as captain, as a player that led the line at the back really well, and then gets a goal. I was looking at him throughout the game, thinking he looked so composed, was happy to have the ball, you know, didn't panic with it. And so for me, Shaun Hutchinson was man of the match, although obviously Matt Smith's made a late claim for that. Ref watch, I thought the ref was pretty fair for both sides. You know, he was going to give no fouls for defensive pushing or defensive holding. It was only for the attacking team. They did look like we could have had a penalty for a handball. You know, the whole crowd went up for it, but for the angle that we're at, I couldn't see it very well. The one thing that I would say that I was disappointed with is that he allows Charlton to take the offside. It was an offside given against us going forward, and it's in the middle. He allows Charlton to take it from the touchline, which I was surprised with, and they eventually score from that same move. And I also thought there was an offside for them just before they got the free kick, but neither of them were given. Overall, it was a decent refereeing performance. You know, the referee kept it going. He kept his cards in his pocket for as long as possible, which you want on a derby day. You know, it wasn't a naughty derby. There was no disgusting challenges or dirty challenges going in, and I felt the ref managed it well. So, Zach, what's your thoughts?
Well, I think that coming back just now, like just today, and having the crowd go wild like that is just amazing. And also, I don't know if Dad agrees with me, but my man of the match actually today, I was comfortable with him on the ball every single time. I think it was Jason Malumbe.
Okay.
Whenever he was on the ball, I felt like saying to Dad, whenever Jason Malumbe's on the ball, I feel safe.
Yeah, to be fair, I can't argue with that. When on the ball, I think he done well. I think he was he was caught out of position a couple of times and trying to chase himself. And I don't think, maybe I've got higher standards for him from some of the performances, but that's why football's a game of opinions. You've got different from me and Zach, and to be fair, he knows more about it than I do. he's looking forward to his first game tomorrow. You know, his first game back after having a surgery and the test results coming back. So he's looking forward to playing with the rest of the Lions. But, you know, looking to that, you know, Gary Rowett's won his 2 home games in charge, 2 tight games against 2 not so great teams, because neither team today, I thought, neither Charlton or Millwall looked particularly good footballing sides. But it, you know, the Derby day puts that out the window, doesn't it? It really changes what you need to be doing. And Charlton fans must be absolutely gutted. Which Mark Smith, one of my mates, Andrew Guy, a very good mate of mine, both Charlton. I'm very sorry for you, but you're never going to beat the Millwall. Please put your likes and comments in below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done. Thank you very much for everyone. The support that me, Zach and my family have got throughout what we've gone through has been second to none. And the Millwall family really come together with things like that. And the messages of support really helped. And I'm proud that, you know, we got to celebrate it properly. So thanks very much for everything that you've done, and I absolutely love the channel. It's always going to stay free. No sponsors at the moment. I don't fancy sponsors, you know. I'm here to just get my point across, and I appreciate the support of this channel. So thanks very much for watching. No one likes us, we don't care, and you'll never beat the Millwall.